Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Sweet Good Torah. Okay, we're going to learn Parsha Shmos. Parsha the names, the Parsha of escaping from Mitzrayim, escaping from Egypt. We're going to get some incredible insights into Sefer Shmos and the Parsha Shmos from the Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachmanides, and from the Ohr Gedaliah, Rabbi Gedaliah Shore. Okay, so let's jump right into the Ramban. So the Ramban, he says, He Shlima Kasuf Sefer Bereshi Shehu Sefer HaYetzira. So he says that we complete the writing of Sefer Bereshis, the book of Bereshis, the book of Genesis, and that is the Sefer HaYetzira. That's the book of formation. And it's like Kechidush HaOlam. It's like something new in the world, the formation, the creation of the world. It says V'Yetziras Kol Notzar. It's the formation of everything that's created. Uba mikre ha'avos kulam shehu ke'ein yetzira lizaram. So and then it says in the events happening in the lives of the avos, the lives happening in the lives of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that all of them are in this subject of yetzira of their descendants, of their children. Mifnei shekol mikrehem siyure devarim. Lirmoz lahodia kol ha'asi lavo lahem, because everything that happens, everything that occurs to them, and this like formation of these things is a hint to let us know everything that's going to happen to them. So v'acharei hishlim hayetzira hisil sefer acher, and then after like this completion of this formation, we begin a different book, the book of Shmos, which we just started. And this is V'inyan Hamaisa Haba Min Ha-Remazim Hahem. And then this is going to be all the events, everything that's happening, coming from the hints. They're hints, these hints. V'nis Yached Sefer V'Ela Shmos. And then we begin, and this is like, or combined, unified with the book of, and these are the names. And this is the Inyan, this is the subject of the Geulah Harishon, the first exile to Egypt. Hanigzar Befeirush. And this was like, it was decreed explicitly in Sefer Bereshis. And it says, Ubegeulah Mimenu. And then the Geulah, the redemption from that first exile in Egypt. Ulechein Chazar V'chizhil B'shemos Yordei Mitzrayim Mesapra. And therefore, we return and we begin with the names that are going down to Mitzrayim, going down to Egypt, the 70 descendants of Yaakov, of Jacob, and their count, their number. V'yafal pi shikavar nik savzeh. And even though that we already wrote this, v'yavor ki yeridasam sham hu reshis hagulos. And then when they go down, when Yaakov comes down with his 70 descendants, this is the beginning of the Gulos. This is the beginning of the exile in Egypt. Ki me'az chochal. And this is from how it started. So v'hine ha'galos eineno nishlam ad yom shuvam el mekomam ve'al ma'alas avosam yeshuvo. Now this is fascinating. So the Ramban, he says here that this Gulos, it's not completed until the day that they return to their place and to the level, the high spiritual level of the Avos, that they return to that level of the Avos, the level of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. So the Ramban saying it's not just returning to Eretz Yisrael. It's not just the Jewish people returning to the land of Israel that completes our escape from exile, from the Gulos. So ki hayu be'eretz lo lahem nevochim b'midbar. And it will be that in the land that there's not to them the nevuchim b'midbar. So ukeshevu el Har Sinai, and when they came to Mount Sinai, the asu hamishkan, and they built and they made the mishkan. They made the movable tabernacle, as it's called in the Midbar, the 40 years of wandering in the desert after going out of Egypt. V'shav HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'hashre shechinaso beinechem. That then the Kadosh Baruch Hu, he will return and he will rest his Shekhinah in the midst of them. Ashavu el ma'alas avosam. Then and only then, not just going out of Egypt, but only until the Mishkan is built and the Shekhinah of Hashem rests inside, on top of the Aron HaKodesh, on top of the Ark of the Covenant, between the two Keruvim, between the two golden angels. Only then, when the Shekinah rests inside the Mishkan and lives within the midst of the Jewish people, that only then is it Geulah. So even now, as we're in our final Geulah, so the Geulah Edom, the exile of Edom, of Rome, not just when all the Jewish people return to the land of Israel, we're still in exile. But even if all the Jewish people return to the land of Israel, the Geulah is not over until the building of the third Beis HaMikdash, the third temple, and the Shekinah of Hashem will rest, will live with all of us in the land of Israel. And that is what's called Geulah, according to the Ramban. It's really fascinating. It says, V'heim heim ha-merkava, because the Avos, they were the Merkava, they were the chariot for Hashem Shekinah to live in the world. V'az nechashvu geulim, and then it's considered that they are redeemed. They are taken out of this exile. V'lo v'olechein nishlam ha-sefer hazeh v'chashlimu inyan ha-mishkan, and so the ending of Sefer Shmos, it ends with the building of the Mishkan, and then it says in the pasuk, "Ubiyos kavod Hashem elo oso tamid," and then it will be that the honor of Hashem, meaning Hashem's Shekinah, will fill him or fill them always. That Hashem, literally, His Shekinah will reside in the hearts and minds of all the Jewish people. But we'll see the Shekinah on top of the Aron HaKodesh in the third Beis HaMikdash, and that's the Geulah, and that's what the Geulah meant in Mitzrayim, and that's what we're hoping for now. Okay, so then the Ohr Gedaliah is going to add on to all this. It's really incredible what he says here. So let me just find it real quick. Sorry. Gotta go to Sefer Shmos. Okay, so he brings that Ramban, which we just learned. And then he says, this reveals to us, because the Sefer Breshis, the book of Genesis, that it is the Sefer HaZariah. It's the book of planting the seeds. Sefer Zeh anu roim echa avos zaro kochosam bizoram acharechem. And we see in the book of Breshis, the book of Genesis, that the strength of the Avos, the strength of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, that they planted that in others. They planted their strengths in their children. And this is what Chazal says, and Chazal says, Maisa Avos Siman Labani. So when Chazal says the actions, the Avos, the actions of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, it's a sign for us, the Jewish people, who are the descendants of what will happen to us in Jewish history. So the Sefer Shmos, who Sefer Hatzamicha, and the book of Shmos, the book of Exodus, that it is really a Sefer, it's a book of Samicha, of growth, of growing, of sprouting. And it's interesting that the one name given to Mashiach is the Zemach, the sprout, the growth. And or it's a Sefer Geulah, or it's the Sefer of the redemption, or the revelation of Hashem in the world. So the Sefer Zeh, Yotzo min hakoach el hapoel. So it goes out from koach, the strength or potential of something, to poel, to its action, to its like reality, to its actuality. So it brings something from potential to reality. So elu hakochos asher zaro ha'avos bebenehem acharechem. And this is the powers, the strengths that the Avos planted in their children after them, which is also us. Al derech zeh mevoar b'divrei Chazal. And upon this is what's explained in the words of Chazal and Breshis Rabbah. And this is really cool. So he says, D'chamisha pa'amim niksav. 5 times is written in the Torah, or, the word or, light. In Maisa Breshis, in the creation of the world, the very beginning of Parsha Breshis, 5 times it writes the word or. Hashem writes the word or 5 times in the Torah, in Beseder Bria, in the order of creation. V'heim neged chamisha chumshei Torah. And each one of these times that the Torah writes or, light, it is representing each of the 5 books of the Chumash, the 5 books of Moshe, the 5 books of the Torah. And when it says Yehi or, let there be light, who neged Sefer Bereshis? Let there be light means that's compared to Sefer Bereshis, the book of Genesis. When it says Vayehi or, and there was light, that is Keneged Sefer Shmos. That's in the book of Exodus. It's compared to, and there was light. So ki yehi or, and let there be light. Hu hayetzira she'or. That's the creation of the. Let there be light is talking about the creation, the formation of the light. V'zeh Sefer Bereshit shehu Sefer Yetzirah. And that's why Sefer Bereshit, or the book of Genesis, is the book of formation, of creation. Yetzirah Ohr Gedaliah, and it's the creation of the light of the Avos, of the fathers of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. V'his havas Ohr shehu vayihi Ohr. And then when it's in creation, it's and there was light. So who Sefer Shemot, and in the book of Exodus, Ki b'Sefer Shemot nishave Ohr zeh shezoro ha'avos bezoram acharechem. And when there was light, that's talking about the children, the Jewish people that come, at the Avos, that was their children after them. But b'kol Sefer Shemot, who he's havos Ohr, and this is like the quality of the light. Ad shebeno hamishkan, shebano hamishkan, until they build the Mishkan, until the Jewish people come out of Egypt and build the Mishkan. V'hi hashra'as hashekhinah b'kerev Yisrael, and then the Shekhinah rests in the midst of the Jewish people. V'gam Parsha hagalos shebesefer Shmos hu chelek mi ha vayihi Ohr, mecha vayihi Ohr. So let there be light is the whole book of Exodus. Shehu gam kain chelek mechatzamichas shel Klal Yisrael. That's the sprouting and the growth of Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, with Kamoshi's prayer and explained. So the whole book of Shmos is explaining Vayihi Ohr, and there was light, and it's explaining how the koach, the strength of the Avos, is put into the Jewish people, and then this grows, and we become a nation in Mitzrayim. We become a nation in Egypt, and we are light to the world. We are the Or Lagoyim, the light to the nations. And right now, all of us, we all have this kohos that we've inherited generation after generation from the Avos, and we have the koach to start growing this new Geulah. And how did the Geulah start? How did it start in Mitzrayim? When we cried out to Hashem. Vayisach Hashem. And why do we cry out to Hashem? When the new Paro, we saw the Paro died. And the new Paro, the new Pharaoh, was just as bad, if not worse, than the old Paro. And when we stopped seeing political solutions to things, when we stopped saying, oh, this politician's no good for us, but that other politician will be great for us. It's not. It's all coming from Hashem. We have to stop looking for these political solutions, and we have to look for the real Geulah. And the real Geulah is all of us returning to Eretz Yisrael. I mean, at first it starts with Mashiach, a king. Hashem anoints a king in Israel, but it's all the Jewish people coming back together. And the goal of it all is to live like what the Avos did, is to bring Hashem into the world. And the Torah and the mitzvahs tell us how to do that, how to elevate ourselves, how to elevate the world. And then a world living with Hashem, and that's the true Geulah. And that's the world where all the war and the disease and all of it goes away, because when everyone sees they're connected to this all-powerful, all-loving, infinite being, the fighting stops, and that's when we really get to that shalom of the world, the shalom ha'olam, the peace of the world peace. And it all begins with this koach we inherited, this strength we inherited from the Avos, to bring Hashem back in the world. Okay, so B'ezrat Hashem, may we quickly see the coming of Mashiach, and in the final Geulah, the final redemption, and we see how it all happens in Sefer Shemot. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you back again soon on Sweet and Good Torah.